It just looks better. All right, it's preparing the stream out on the YouTubes. So if you go check Best AI TV, you should be able to find it.
Is it going to pull up on mine too? Did you ever get that figured out?
No, I got to connect that later. I got to wait until I see the
That's
actual
fine.
access. I don't have
I'll
the
go
access.
check out Best Live TV and I'll
Best
share it.
AI TV. Best AI TV. I'm going to grab the link right now. All you out there are seeing us, I'm sure. Yep, there we are, nice and live. I'll grab the link and copy it to Ross so he can find it. It's in the chat here, Ross, on YouTube or on Zoom. Add it in. Boom. Oh, did I lose it? Yep, I lost it already because I did a Control C instead of a
Got it.
Control V. All right, you got it?
Yep.
All right, cool. I'm going to go to Facebook. We're just sharing out, folks. Welcome to the broadcast. Again, this is not a formatted show. This is a workshop. We're just here to help y'all out figuring out the AI. So welcome aboard. I'm going to put this in a couple places. I actually put it on my profile too. Next. I get 3 of them that I can connect it to. So there we go. And that's how I do it, Ross. Actually, it's easier if you share it to your profile. And then what pops up when you go to share a YouTube video is it asks you if there are any pages you want to share it to or groups, I think, too. You can decide, but it's mostly pages. And you just add it in there. And I'm going to publish. Oh, that's a boost post. Nope, I don't want to boost it. I don't need to boost it. All right, I guess we're good. We're not watching the comment section. If you want to hang out with us and get a better feel for what we're doing in here at the workshop, you're going to have to go to bestaipodcast.tv, hit the registration button at the top of the page, which will help you register for the Zoom, which is an actual webinar. And then you can come in and join us. Otherwise, you're just going to have to sit there and watch. So it's the way we do it over here. All right, Ross, what do we got? We got Mike in the room. We're going to Mike come on board for a minute. Let's see how Mike's doing. Mike, you want to talk for a moment? We'll bring you up here for a bit.
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's going on, bud?
Hey, I'm on the YouTube, so I'm just seeing like video.
Do you
Am
want
I
to
in the
come on video? I can let you on video. That's no problem.
No,
I'm
no,
just
I just want to see if I was in the right place because I'm on the phone talking to you, but I just pulled it up on YouTube and
oh,
I
okay.
have
Welcome
you
in,
not
caller.
Yeah,
have you not
I'm glad you're here.
started it on YouTube yet?
Yeah, it is rolling right now. I believe we should have some video out there. It's going to be about 6 or 8 seconds behind what you see, and it's
Oh, this must be a an old one because it's okay. It's not live. I'm not on the live feed, I
yeah, there's
guess.
a live one out there. The thing is you're not showing up in the video because you're just being allowed to talk. You're not a panelist. You're just inputting your audio right now into the feed. So you see yourself in the Zoom, but you're not broadcasting out from the Zoom. So I can make you a panelist if you want to come out and hang out with us, if you want to get on cam for a minute.
Fine. I was just no. This is fine.
Okay,
You
cool.
don't need to see me.
We see your brand down here where we're at for the financial prof. So welcome aboard. If you don't know Mike Sheehan, he runs in as an insurance broker out there under Financial Prof on Facebook and YouTube. He's got a lot of videos out there that he's put together thanks to a little help from me. And we're
Oh,
hoping to keep things
uh,
moving.
wait a minute. Let's back up. A lot of help from you.
Ah, that's okay. I just do what I do. No, thanks for that. I appreciate it. So, Mike,
Yeah.
you hear I left you a little message yesterday about our voice AI. What'd you think when you saw that message?
Wait a minute. I don't know if I saw that.
Oh, you didn't?
You
I
want
just
to?
No.
mentioned because you said we need to get together and ask. You wanted to ask me a couple of things.
Oh,
Oh, maybe, but our
may-
voice is now available. So I didn't know if you saw the
oh,
message. Yes, sir.
okay, yes, correct. I did see that because yeah, my question to you was I'm trying to and I still I'm running at dead ends and it should be something pretty simple, but with what I do, I wanted to so I'm responding to leads and I'm not wanting my phone number to come up as unknown or whatever. And I
Mhm.
use my Android phone, and for the life of me, cannot figure out how I can get it to have my name pop up or something in regards to that.
That's
Um,
usually your carrier where you'll log into your carrier's account and there should be something for caller ID identifying there where you can type in a ID that you want to use. Normally it's going to be defaulted to the phone number anyway, but if it's showing up as a non-identified, then it's privatized. You've got it blocked on the other end. So it's not showing on a caller ID. That's why it's giving an unauthorized or an unknown number. So
So
we would
like,
want to turn
hey,
on the caller ID.
where I'm at, I have Spectrum, so I can go talk to Spectrum and they can
Mhm.
tell me I can do that.
Yep, you could either call them on the phone. They're really good on the phone. If you just call their
Yeah.
800 number and ask for agent about 10 times, you'll get a real person.
Yeah,
Uh,
right. No,
that's
and just for marketing purposes, yeah, based on what I have, I get leads and I will say 99%, probably 99.5% of the people do never pick up the phone. So, and this is even with a lead, leading ahead of time with a text,
I think
so
unknown caller would do that to people because I don't normally answer phone
sure.
calls with say unknown caller. So yeah, let's get that squared away. I didn't realize that's been an ongoing thing for you that long. So one thing we could do too is offer you an 800 number, and that's not always received as well either. I think a local number, which Ross has been using a lot, and we're going to let Ross demonstrate what we could do for you in just a minute with regards to that, because we've just released our voice bots over at our founding members site. And so we're actively making phone calls to people who have opted in on whatever list they have. And the bot is making the call, taking the call, or leaving a message if nobody answers the phone. And so from there, we train it, and it does a lot of routing of information. It does its own little thing. It can do policy data back to the user. So you've got a bunch of existing users. You could fire up a small database structure. We'll show you that too, a template that enters policy number, expiration dates, costs, things like that, that people would request over the phone, and the AI can answer those questions for them. So Ross, you want to throw one together real quick while we got Mike here and give him an
Yeah,
idea?
I'll
what we
showcase
have?
John really quickly, my
Yeah.
insurance
We'll
AI.
let Mike make the call. How's that sound?
The John is not super trained, so
That's okay.
and I only have one
Mike
data set
respond.
in there.
Well, when we test these, Ross, we come out here and we ask questions that we feel we want answers to. Now, no person's going to ask an AI exactly like we do, because we go kind of deep when we ask these questions. We want to see what a regular person like Mike, anybody out there, would ask or say to a bot when it's having a conversation with it. That helps us
Agreed.
to understand, what would you say to the bot, Mike? Would you say the same thing I would say? So
I
we'd like
agree
your
with
input
that,
on
but the
that.
only thing this one is trained on is the database to collect policy information. I would rather do a call that's actually built on a fully trained AI.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah,
If
like
we're
you
going to
have with
demonstrate it
this
for a
one,
customer. Yeah.
it literally was built only to contact the API for the policy
Oh,
number.
yeah. Well, give them an example then. Show them how that works. So this is basically a demonstration of how a user could go to make a call or receive a call, even if they asked for it through a widget. Say, hey, could you call me? That bot would call and provide whatever data is capable to access the API on the other.
And this one specifically is built to be a customer service rep. So you would give it your business phone number that it's attached to. And if somebody calls in asking about their policy information, the price of their policy, the renewal date, anything like that, it's going to have access to the database on the back end for that. So what I'll do is I'll show you guys the back end that this thing is connected to, so you can verify that it's pulling the data. And then I'll make a live call where we can show it. So in here, I put this into my backend database, which we use AI table for our backend database. I use my name, a fake date of birth, a fake policy number, fake renewal date. All this stuff is just made up, but I put it in here so it's going to pull the data. It's got the policy premium amount annually, monthly, and it has the full term premium. So with that, when I make the call, it's going to talk to John right here, which has all the prompt information, and it tells how to do it. We walk through the custom call that requests the policy number and the date of birth before they get to have that data. So it's kind of protecting the data on the back end. So not just everybody can get information about your policy. They would have to have a policy number and a date of birth. So I'm going to do a demo call here with John. He doesn't have a great voice. He's not trained on anything, but he will get us the information we're looking for. A fully trained bot, I'll show you what that looks like afterwards on one that I built out for a service department at a dealership. And I've changed the name of the company so that that's not going to be leaked out
Protect
there.
the innocent. Yeah. You know
Yeah,
that.
but we'll go ahead and do this call with John really quickly. And I'm going to test it. If you guys can't hear it, let me know before we get too deep into it, but you should be able to hear it when it's on speaker.
Hi, Ross.
There we
Yeah,
go.
Maverick Insurance. How are you doing today?
I'm good, John. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank
Can you
for
hold a little
asking.
closer to the mic?
How can I assist you today? What are you looking for? Quote, or do you have a question about your current policy?
I want to know what my renewal is for my policy.
To help with your request, I'll need to verify your information first. Could you please provide your policy number and date of birth?
The policy number is 123456789, and the date of birth is November 17th, 1977.
Took a second.
Policy renewal date is January 10, 2025, and the total cost of your policy is $2,565. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
It's
Okay.
$2,565. What does that mean?
I apologize for any confusion. Total cost of your policy is $2,565, which means you would pay the amount annually. If you have any further questions or need clarification, feel free to ask.
All right, thank you. So
So
with that,
Explain what happened.
I know exactly why that did that. And here it is. So when we do the API call, it pulls in all the data. So let me show you what this looks like on the back end. We've already built this out. I'm not going to get technical with you. But you can see whenever I pull this, it pulls all of this data from the database. The AI voice has trouble reading this number. So it said $2,565. It was trying to say 2,565.
Yeah.
What I did
Can't believe
here-
they haven't perfected that yet.
Yeah, and that's just the state of AI right now. If you talk to ChatGPT, it's going to do the same thing. Claude, which doesn't have voice, would do the same thing when it comes out. Hopefully they'll have that fixed. But what I've done here is I'm trying to convert this. So I take the policy price, convert it into simple English from a numeric value. Usually this works. This is one of the times it didn't. So I'm guessing my variable didn't pull through here. But what we're doing is we're changing it from numeric to simple English on the back end. And then we're having it pass through. And I don't think it passed through the right way. So I've got to work on the prompting on this. Like I said, the only thing we've done so far is set up the API, and we're trying to perfect this, but this is what it takes on the back end. The engineering that goes into this is not simple. It takes a lot to custom build these AI employees and get them to do exactly what you want. But I can showcase another one. And this one, Mike, I will have you call into once I get the phone number done, and I'll showcase that after I get this phone number set up. But Leland, if you want to talk a little bit more about how we're doing this and the things that go into the back end, I'll get this number set up for this AI employee, and then we'll test this one.
Well, another thing I want to cover in that regard to Ross is the fact that we've been through the gamut of AI bots for quite some time now. And the reason you're seeing this progression into AI voice, it's what's going to take place. It's the natural evolution of the AI system, because what we're doing is we're finding ways to interface with a large language model from a personal perspective as a user from the front end. Right now, that's done in several ways. It's done on ChatGPT, it's done on Claude, it's done on wherever you go, there's this little chat box that you type in and you get a response. We've carried that over into a widget onto a website where you can type in that little widget and get the same response. It's really the same connection. It's just from a different format. Now what we're looking at is allowing the bot to provide both imagery, which could be either textual links to other sites. It could be a photographic image, or it could be a video. Now we're also playing with voice responses, which are requiring us to make a call. So what happens in this voice response is really kind of unique. The bot is making the call. Everything's done in text, but it's being translated by LLM into the voice and then back. So the millisecond timing that we have to deal with, you saw a smart delay there where it had to decipher the number that Ross had said to it and the date. It had to think for a minute to determine and actually archive and create variables for those values that he gave the bot by his voice. So each time a voice conversation takes place, the voice is interpreted, translated into text, converted by the LLM to an answer from the GPT, which is then converted again into voice and sent back to the chatbot so that it can respond in kind. That's where the difficulty lies, is making sure that the bot is doing what it's told to do each time a conversation starts, and that it can interpret properly what the user is actually saying. So that's why we have to go through some of these translations where it didn't work. Okay, we got to go back. Let's try something different on the prompt that helps the bot understand what we're trying to do, and that allows the bot to perform the task that we want. So it's a generative, regenerative rework all the time. And if that's why the maintenance is so important when it comes to AI, because we never know when somebody's going to say something out of the blue that the bot isn't familiar with and won't know how to respond to. So we have to accommodate that. That's really the problem that we run into. It's what Ross just ran into with a pricing problem. But it can be fixed, and he does have a way to work around that. So if it fails, then we need to look at the sourcing of the bot. Sometimes we have to use a different bot, like versus GPT, go to Claude or go to Perplexity or go somewhere else, so that, or build our own. That's why a lot of people are building their own LLMs now. So it's not as cost effective, obviously, as just going and buying somebody else's software. But
I would expand on that. It's not even just the LLM, it's 11 labs, it's the voice generators that happen on the back end that are really doing this, because some of the voices may sound more robotic, so you don't want them as the actual voice of your bot that's on the phone, but it reads the number perfectly. Others sound more human, but then they break when they're reading numbers. So it comes down to the company that's generating the voice sometimes too. And that just goes to show you that there are so many variables that go into building these, that I'm here to showcase, Leland's here to showcase how we do it, because we're happy to give the information out there. If you want to go out and do this on your own, that's what these workshops are for. But if you don't want to go through this, this is what Leland and I do. We build these on the back end so that you don't have to go through all the headaches of that. And we have teams set up on the back end that make it a very smooth process. So we're going to showcase everything. We want you to be able to do this for free. We believe information should be free. But if you don't want to do it and you want us to do it, there is a cost that goes with that.
It's a little crazy. So Mike, I mean, just looking at what we just showed you, I know you would look at this and go, I'm not going to do that, right? I don't see Mike building bots, okay, for his own business. That's just not the way he's going to operate. So when it comes down to what type of business owner are you? You know, if you're a solopreneur, if you have tech skills, if you like playing with tech and software, great. We'll provide you the right software, because I'll tell you right now, you can turn around and tell us right in my face. I know you can tell me, well, I go to Minos and buy a bot for $37 and I've got a lifetime account. I've got the same account. I'll show it to you. I never use it. It's not a bad account. I'm not saying that. There's a lot of people making money off that account. I'm not knocking Aminos, because I'm a provider of Aminos. I will give that bot to people who can't afford a bot. It's doable. It'll work. It has cards. It's got cool features. It's graphical. It doesn't talk. It accesses GPT, but not like this one. It doesn't have the full capabilities. So we look for the highest quality. You'll see feeds going through Facebook all day long to buy a bot. Buy your bot, buy your bot. You're going to find half of them are at AppSumo, the other half are at Warrior Forum. I will advise you 100% never buy an AI bot from Warrior Forum. Okay. That's straight out. That's where a lot of these scammers start. A lot of the marketing software builders start. They build up these really cool looking features. If you have to scroll through 10 pages of sales letter to buy a bot, you're buying the wrong bot. Okay. You don't need to be told this is a good bot if it's a good bot. Okay. We don't
Good bots are showcased.
Yeah, we don't promote this huge sales letter that tells you all the really cool things our bot's capable of doing on this you gotta have notion, because we don't know if you gotta have it. You might not need this thing, and we don't want to sell you something you don't need. So we want to evaluate that first and sit down with you and say, where are you struggling? Where's your problem? What could we automate? What could we get a bot to do for you that you don't need to do anymore and not think about it anymore? What's that worth to you? That's really how we function.
And Mike, I was going to have you test this, but you said you're on your phone right now.
Yeah, he may not be available.
Leland,
Well,
oh,
I have
there he is.
I have a second phone.
you want to test this out? This is going to be for a service department at a dealership.
Okay.
And so you're going to be taking your car in for service. So that's all you need to know. Everything else is pretty much laid out. You can throw curveballs and say something like, my brakes just fell off as I was driving down the road. I don't care what you throw at it.
Yeah, we want to
As long as it's vehicle related, it will answer and respond to you, and it will get you all the way to booking a service appointment at the dealership.
All right.
We just wanted to see how it does. So yeah, fire up your other phone there, and so we should be able to hear both of them. I don't think it'll cause any kind of mic interference.
Yep, and we'll be quiet on this end so it doesn't trigger a accidental response. But let me know when you're ready. I'll give you the phone number.
Go ahead.
704
704
520
520
3209.
3209. All right, hold on. All right. 704
520
3209. Hit that. Let me turn on the speaker.
No phone opening message set. Please contact support with error code 2008.
Try it again. I just put that number on there. Sometimes whenever it does that, it gives that.
Let me just make sure. 704 52 recent. 704. It says Charlotte, North Carolina. I don't know if that's any relevance. 704 520 3209. Okay.
Hi, thank you for calling Auto Service, our service department. This is Stacey, your service appointment coordinator. Please note that this call may be recorded for quality assurance. How can I assist you today?
Hey, Stacey, I need to get in my car for service.
Hello, thank you for calling Auto Service R. This is Stacey, your service appointment coordinator. Please note that this call may be recorded for quality assurance. I'd be happy to help you with that. Could you please tell me what type of service your vehicle needs today? For example, are you looking for an oil change, tire rotation, or something else?
No, my transmission isn't working very well.
Thank you for sharing that with me. It sounds like your transmission may need some attention. I just need a few more details to ensure we have everything ready for your appointment. What's the make and model of your vehicle? Also, is there anything specific you would like our technicians to look at during the service?
Yeah, the make and model is a 2020 Chevy or a Ford 150, and I can't go in reverse.
Thank you for the detail. It sounds like your 2020 Ford F-150 is having some significant transmission issues, especially not being able to go in reverse. We definitely want to get that checked out as soon as possible, in addition to the transmission service. Would you be interested in having a full vehicle inspection or checking the fluid levels while you're here? It could help identify any other potential issues.
No, not today. I just need to get my car working correctly.
I understand, and we'll focus on getting your Ford F-150 working correctly. Let's get you scheduled for that transmission service. Our service department is open from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. The earliest available appointment I can schedule for you is at 1:30 p.m. today. Does that work for you, or would you prefer a different time?
Is it possible to get in there at 9 a.m.?
I appreciate your request for a 9 a.m. appointment, but unfortunately, I can only offer appointments within our current operating hours and availability. The earliest I can schedule you is at 1:30 p.m. today. Would that work for you, or would you like to look at another day?
No, I'll have to go with that one.
Great. I've got you scheduled for a transmission service for your 2020 Ford F-150 at 1:30 p.m. today. Please arrive a few minutes early so we can get you checked in. Is there anything else I can assist you with today?
How do I know if if my car is still under warranty?
I'm not sure about the specifics of your vehicle's warranty, but I recommend checking your owner's manual or contacting the dealership where you purchased your Ford F-150 for warranty information. They should be able to provide you with the details you need. Now, back to your appointment. I have you scheduled for 1:30 p.m. today. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
No, that's it.
I'm not sure about the specifics of your vehicle's warranty, but
Right. It might loop there because it's not connected to a database.
it's your Ford F-150 for warranty information. They should be able to provide you with the details you need.
But
Ooh,
that's pretty much it. I mean, you
Yep.
can see it doesn't know who you are. It doesn't know anything about it. And it did a pretty good job. And that's something that I literally just copied the other bot. And I went in and changed the company name and didn't change anything else. So there's a few glitches there. But overall, what'd you think, Mike?
I mean, it seemed pretty smooth. I think what you were saying, and again, this would be a service thing, so I don't know how people would feel, but yeah, it was kind of robotic. But as long as I'm getting my questions answered, I don't care.
Exactly. And if it starts to break, we have it built in with a transfer option. So you can transfer to the service department and talk to a human if this doesn't get
Gotcha.
done. So what this is going to do is it's going to reduce wait times. Like if you go to a service department, they're either dealing with people at the counter or they have a call center where people are answering the phones and booking that service appointment. And you may have to go on hold. You may have to wait on them to get finished with something and just it'll take time. With this, you will get immediate assistance. And then if it doesn't help you, you can transfer to a human. So the goal is to streamline the process for the easy customers that just want to get booked in and then help as much as possible with the complicated ones. By the way, on the back end, this is going to collect the data of what you said. So it collected your vehicle information in a form and the problems that you said you had. So when this transfers to a human, you don't have to reiterate. That form gets transferred to them directly so that they can answer the questions without having to re-ask you as the customer on the back end.
Got it.
So this is why it's going to be the future. Leland, you're muted. I see you're trying to talk.
I just noticed that. I just had an issue where I went through 3 prompted calls the other day on a call center system. I forget who it was, PayPal or something. And I gave all my information, or it was the bank. I gave all my information up front, had to get transferred, had to give the same information again, had to get transferred, had to give the same information for a 3rd time. I'm like, really, you guys don't log this stuff? I mean, it wasn't confirmation that it was me. It was stuff they needed outside of that. So I'm like, that's just lame. But yeah, Mike, if you totally see it for what it could do for you, you don't have a call center, okay? You have to take your own calls. And if you're on a call and somebody else calls, you're looking at a call waiting or sorry, I got to get back with you or whatever. This thing just takes the call and answers for you and does everything else while the other call is still taking place. And 10 more could be doing the same thing at the same time without any worries. There's no busy signal. There's no call waiting. There's no call forwarding. Though we could maybe, I thought about that, maybe set up call forwarding where we have like the call pass on where we can forward it to people, but there may be other areas where we could also forward calls.
And
we
I'll
haven't-
tell you, that's the downfall of this system right now is if you have a number that's outside of our system, you have to set up call forwarding rules within your cell phone carrier or your phone provider. And that is the most difficult part. But if you can do that, it'll pass the phone call through when you're on a phone call or you miss the call, and then it will be answered by the AI. So you can have that taken care of on the back end. But that is all through your third party phone provider and not through us, which is what has become the most difficult part of implementing these into businesses.
Yeah, I think something we need to let people understand here is there are 2 ways that we can implement this. We're working on it in a couple of different ways. One, you buy into the CRM system that is included on the back end with all of our flows that Ross just showed you, the tiered flow working vertically from top to bottom. That structure is where our flow bots are literally built within the flows. We can manipulate the structure. They're the ones asking the questions, doing the talking. that bot has a lot of structure to it, but we also have other bots that could communicate on your own numbers, like your Google Voice numbers and things, and attach those as well in sequence. So this is going next level is what I'm talking about here. But right now we can't just take your current phone number, whatever you use on your phone, unless it's a Google Voice number, and actually use that number within the bot's voice structure, calling structure, and all of that. It has to be a number that we put into the system to attach to the bot. That's one of the things that comes with that. So we charge for the, if you're using SMS in the bot, that's an additional fee. If you're using the voice within the bot, there is a fee for that. We don't charge for the AI translations that take place through the LLMs, but we do have to charge for the voice transfer back and forth through carriers, because that's just a fee we have to cover ourselves too. And we try to carry that forward as much.
I'm just excited about where this is going to be a year from now.
Yeah.
We're still at the very beginning. And as people jump into this, the systems, the way we built them, are only going to improve as the LLM. So large language models, that's your ChatGPT, your Claudes, your Llama, your XAI. As all these improve, our systems also improve.
And we're just adding things as we go. But I keep wanting to reiterate, I've returned, I don't know how many products that I've purchased for my business because they were literally just garbage. Most of the stuff that you'll see in your Facebook feeds and on your advertising channels on your phone, whatever they are, so buy this AI, buy this AI. I'm not saying they're all bad. There's obviously some good ones out there, but when I saw, what was it, Air AI come out originally, that was the first voice bot, I think, that hit the market. They were asking upwards of $25,000 to set those bots up for businesses. And I thought that was crazy. I was like, you guys are nuts. What are you talking about? It's just a bot that's making voice connection back and forth. And now once we get into this and start to understand the development of them and how much they change and how much we have to keep up and how much, there's a lot of maintenance. So at least at this time. And that's why we keep that stuff under wraps until it's ready. We've been playing with voice for what? Almost a year now.
Yeah.
On
And
AI,
release it because it wasn't ready.
but we couldn't put it into a bot and actually have it interface with the public until now. So now we feel more comfortable with that. We still have tweaking to do. That's going to always be the case with a model that's artificial. Let's just say it for what it is. We got to keep it artificial. The minute we give it too much autonomy, then we're in trouble. So that's why we constantly put safeguards up against these kinds of weird conversations that I had. I still have people getting recipes off some of my bots because I haven't safeguarded them. I just let them be open to discussions, and you can do that. And I let people use them that way so that they can learn from them. They can play with it and they can ask it whatever they want with no limitations. But most of the bots that you go to ask questions to, like ChatGPT, won't show you how to make a bomb, obviously. They're not going to let you. They never will. A silent private language model will. I'm just being honest.
Yep.
But I hope no one ever uses it for that. It's just, that's how much separation there is between the privatized versus the public facing. And if you want access to all of it, you got to go open source. You have to privatize yourself. You have to build your own language model. That's just all there is to it.
You have to host it yourself.
Yeah, to your own business. But that's next level stuff. That's enterprise. That's not where we're at.
Leland, do you want to go into what goes into building this bot? That way people can see if they wanted to get the system or they have the system and they want to do it their own. I want to give a little bit of value other than just, hey, we can do this and show it. I want to actually show how we did it.
Absolutely. Let me
I'll share my screen and I'll go over this here.
Yeah, you can do that. I got to share screen too, but I didn't pop it up yet.
So,
because I like the way this builder works. I mean, every interface is different, and you've seen a lot of what Ross has been showing as the interface, and this is for the technically challenged won't like this part of the business end of the bot, but let's show them what it takes.
Yeah. So for those of you who actually want to build this on your own, I'm going to give you step-by-step what we do. So you put in an original system prompt here. So you give it its role, you give it its goal, and you give it a purpose. You can pause this, play it back, and read this if you want. I'm not going to take the time to dive in deep here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Then you go into the opening message. You can set that for inbound, outbound, text message, or voicemail. With that, you can then set one of these. This bot is only meant to be used via voice on inbound calls. So I didn't go in and do a separate one for everything, but typically on a build, I will set it for inbound, outbound, SMS, and a voicemail. So the voicemail is if it's doing outbound, someone doesn't answer their phone, you want it to leave a custom voicemail that lets them know why you're calling. It can do that as well. I don't really mess with the opening message attempts because if you're having a voice conversation, you don't need to revive this. So I could even delete these and it wouldn't change anything. Then we go to the introduction. So now in here, this is actually where you heard this loop, because typically I would have this set up in a database. I would have it connected. This one was not. So it read the script again, because your opening message is usually outbound, but I have it set for inbound as well. And then my introduction also tells it what to say again, which is why it looped when Mike was on the call.
Mhm.
So I would have to fix this. That was a prompting error, not a system error. Then you have the service inquiry. You heard it go through this, determine the type of service the customer is seeking, ask specific questions to identify the customer needs. And we even have in the information collection, we have an upsell option. I have to read through here, but it says, be sure to ask if there are any other services that you want so that it upsells on the service appointment so that the service company can make more money when they get in there. Or maybe there's something else that the person needed that they forgot about. And it
Mhm.
helps do that. Just like you go to McDonald's and you order a burger and they say, would you like fries with that? It's an upsell. Everywhere it does this for the companies. Now we've just automated that to where the AI is going to do that for you. Then it goes to the appointment scheduling and you tell it to schedule the appointment. Typically we would connect this to a back-end appointment scheduler. This one was not. There's nothing connected here. So it just made up the times when Mike was going through that at that point. And then it confirms. Some of this was a little redundant, and I'm still working on tweaking this for the company I'm building this for, which is why it stayed redundant. It kept saying for your Ford F-150, and it said 150, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
But there's little tweaks that'll have to be made here to be maintained, but that's part of this, and that's why we do this. So if you're building this out, understand there's little nuances, there's little things that you have to do here. You can't just put something in and leave it. You've got to test it, you've got to break it, and you've got to fix what the problem was.
Mhm.
And then in closing, it's going to make sure there's nothing that needs to happen. On the one I built for my customer, I actually added the trigger action of do not reply. So once they get to the point of ending the conversation, we would put do not reply here and it would stop the conversation. It kept looping and asking if there's anything else. I copied and pasted this and I didn't really implement all of the things into this. So you would want to add those in here as well. And then if you want to call the database, you can use this custom AI function. So in order to do that, I'll show you on John down here how to do that. This pulls in your custom information from the conversation. So if we were to pull in the database here instead of policy number, because John is built for an insurance, it would say vehicle make and model. It would pull that in and I would make this vehicle make and model. Then here it would be customer name so they could match it to their database. And then it would match it in their system to the customer and the vehicle that they have. And it would be the custom API that was built in there. And then at that point, we would put that through to the automation, which is going to trigger from the AI employee. You tell it what it wants, so it would gather the vehicle, make and model, and the owner instead of the policy number and the date of birth. Then we would do the API call to the database so that it could match it. And then we would tell it how to translate that API information so that it could pull it back in. And then we would give it to the AI to respond with the variables from that AI. There's, again, a lot of engineering that goes into this.
Yeah.
This is how it responds. It pulls the data from the conversation, touches base with the database where the information is, translates that database, and then it will give that information that's been translated from the database to the AI to respond to the customer. This is why there was a little bit of latency whenever we did the policy information with John.
Mhm.
So again, there's a lot that goes into this, but I want you all to understand this is exactly what you need to do to build it out. So again, you can pause this and you can build it out that way, but that is in a nutshell how you would build this voice AI to do this job.
And that's a simple build. Show them just a couple of the other menu items there, how we connect to the systems, Ross, so you can see the assigned work and the other training databases that are built into the back end so that
So
you
you
can
can
see
do-
feature-wise.
Yeah, so you can do a hunting mode. So if you had outbound calls, you could connect that in with people with tags, certain owners, system tags, automations that you've got built out, or you could do manual and you can do it based on anything that you've set up in the automation flow here. And you
Yeah,
can add tags.
attach these. You can attach them individually to any one person in your CRM. So you could have a bot that you wanted to assign to all the women because you're selling women's clothes. So you do a woman female bot that's going to converse with all the females. And you got a man bot do a man clothes. And he talks about men's underwear and all this other stuff. So you got another connecting in that you could do that one on. I'm just throwing ideas out there as to how we can build these.
And if you had the training data on any of these, you can add training data to it by going in here. You can add content, which is just typing it. You put a title and you put the information in. You can put a website that it can crawl and grab information about the company. You can add a file. You can do question and answer, all this. Now, what I'm doing now is doing the API call with that custom function. There's absolutely no reason to use this. If you have a full database on the back end, you can just attach a file to your database. So if I were to go here, you can see I can actually attach a file here. In the insurance situation, it would be the deck page. You bind a policy as an insurance agent, put the deck page there, it has all the information, and the AI can read that. There's so much.
You could read the declaration and provide the link to it, I believe, as well, if it wanted to, as a source.
Yes.
At some point, we'll have that capability anyway. And I wanted to make a comparison real quick because this is a good spot. You kind of got into the point. Well, show them also how the communications tools function. Yeah, you've got various ways.
So in here, you can connect a phone number. So you go in, like I have this one set up as demo AI, and I've got 9 other numbers that you can choose from. And then you can choose voices to put in here. And there are 16 voices that you can choose from. You can even add background noise. I don't like the background noise. You already know it's AI. If you have any kind of ear for it, let's not add any other distractions. You can add
I actually felt less that it was AI when I heard the background noise. Because it made me feel like I was listening to a call center in the background. That there was actually someone in a room with a bunch of people around him, rather than just hearing the voice talk, where I felt I could hear the robotics in it. That if it's got it over top of that background track, you don't really get that nuance right away. I thought it was a little different from my experience.
Maybe I'll play with that more.
Yeah.
And it could be personal preference, and it might be something that's a little bit easier to make someone think they're talking to a human.
Sure.
I'm not really sure I care.
We
just want easy access, but either way is good. It's preference.
Yeah, and we don't tell people they're humans. We never try to mask them. There's no reason to, because people are familiar with the fact that AI can talk now. There's no reason to hide the fact. Just make a bot personality. That's all we're really trying to do. Give it a personality.
But that's pretty much it. You can webhook it in. So if you want to connect it to social media or another CRM, you can pass all the conversation data through.
And I know this is very technical for a lot of people, and this is why we do them. Let me show you real quick, Rod. I'm going to take the screen share from you for a minute. So I mentioned another bot process here just a moment ago, and I want you to see the difference between the two. So this is Aminos, the $37 one-time bot that you can buy if you want to off of the Facebook ad that rolls by anybody that's looking up AI. And basically what this system allows you to do is create as many bots as you want. You could build all kinds of bots. I've built several in this system. I actually built one for Mike in this system, who's here today with us. This is his rendition of the financial prof bot that we first started with originally. And when we did that, what we had to do was come up with a build that would at least find us a way to gather data from his website. And that was really all we were looking for, is to try and gather leads. So it's a simple flow builder like we've seen in a lot of these. You add the avatar, you get to add the little pre-prompt that pops up on the screen. These are just the superficial outside aesthetics of the actual bot. This one has a flow builder. And if you saw Ross's flow builder, it looks kind of the same. It's a vertical structure, but these are cards that you have to, click on. The little pop-up shows up. You enter the data, you delete or add other blocks. You can actually delete the whole thread if you want. Questions are asked at each step. So it's a little bit different. This AI doesn't just take over the conversation. This is a lot of pre-prompted questions, a lot of pre-prompted imagery, so that when I go to ask the bot questions, it's going to throw images at me, and it's going to ask questions that have been pre-prompted. And I can also join the AI mode of this. So let's say I get out of here. I don't want to clear that flow, but if I wanted to add an AI mode to it, I'm activating the mode. Let me see if I can add it in the middle here. So if I add AI mode, it's going to start those conversations as well with the bot on the back end. And in order to set those up, I have to come back in here and actually work in AI mode so that I can give it the business content and name for the bot. But as far as advanced features, you see it. That's it. That's all it can do. Okay. The difference between a highly trained bot and a response bot are so extreme, it's not even funny. This is the integration code. Sure, we can drop the bot onto it. As far as settings go, it's really just capable of attaching to a spreadsheet and giving an email notification. Now, I can go and create automation flows with other automation systems like Zapier and Make and Pabbly, like you saw connecting points in Ross's demo. And I can whitelist this and give it somewhat of a code powered by, and let it be known that it's my brand and not the brand that I bought on Aminos. But again, it's a simplified bot. It reports, sure, tells you how many leads you got in that many number of days. It shows you the responses that come through from people, and you can delete those responses if you like, but at least you get the names and the when it was created and stuff. You also have a chat log, but that's really the size of it. And that's what you're going to get for $37. And that's why I need people to know right up front that the bots vary extremely from price point to price point. The bots we're talking about, trust me, they're not cheap. And we talk to people about it all the time, but that's something that we prefer to discuss on the back end, because we need to know what you have wrong first. We're not just going to sell you a bot that's per monthly fee. We want to bring it down to as reasonable a cost as you can afford for your budget. But we also have limitations by third-party carriers when it comes to phone calls and text messages that we can't avoid. So that's something that gets added on. And that's something that's not even available on that bot unless you hook it up to Zapier, then to Twilio, then get a number from Twilio. Then you got to do all those automations back and forth between those systems. So
And that
becomes a headache.
latency becomes an issue at that point when you have to connect to that many different systems to do it, instead of directly building APIs, which for the layman out there who don't understand what an API is, it's a phone call basically from one system to another. So it's this system saying, hey, I need to connect over here. And what Leland just said is you're connecting Aminos to Zapier, which is an in-between system, then to Twilio, which is another system that connects to the carriers for the phone. So now you have 3 calls happening. It's like playing a game of telephone there and back. So now you have 6 touch points from
And
start to
any of those
finish.
could break.
Yep. And that's
Yes.
where it gets really difficult. And that's what people don't understand goes into the back of this with the development of these systems.
Mhm. So, Mike, do you think this would be something that would be implementable? And I'm not talking thousands of dollars. I'm talking maybe these things take time to set up. So we typically charge a $2,000 setup fee to set up a bot like this for someone specifically trained to their business and all the acumen behind it. We're not just scraping your website like a lot of these bots will do. They'll scrape your website. Oh, what are some of the questions that your customers ask you? We'll add 10 questions that they ask you as a fact, and then we'll go do a couple other things. No, that's not what we do. We build out your entire business avatar, your entire bot avatar, your entire SOP of how your client is going to walk through your business from the minute you touch point to the sale and after for follow-up and support. It's not just about selling a bot. It's not what we do. So what Ross and I have done, and we've announced this just in the last week, we're looking to partner better in what we do together. So one thing that we've done is work together on our YouTube channels. I've created Best AI TV, Ross is running his Maverick Solutions channel, I
Yep.
believe.
It's at
So-
Maverick Solutions on YouTube.
And we refer back and forth to each other on those channels. We will probably create content that bounces off each other. I'll do a video and Ross may do a twist of that video, or we may ignore each other completely and do different topics. So you may learn one thing from me that you won't learn from Ross and vice versa. I've also started an audio channel, Virtual DJ, okay, on YouTube. And her name, actually, I have two that are running right now. I'm going to try this out as a faceless channel, and you'll get to see how I can automate a faceless YouTube channel. And I'll be able to create content, very little touch on my end. And hopefully we're going to make an AI influencer that's going to generate content out to YouTube and become a big thing. It's at Midnight Diamond DJ. You want to go see what she is. And she's an avatar. And we're going to build videos based on AI constructed music that then gets pumped into an AI constructed video. And that's what's going to get posted. It'll be free to use for anybody on their own content. They can use it as the backtracks for their YouTube videos or for their playback on live video, because this will be completely royalty-free music generated by AI. So that's what our hope and push. Other than that, Ross, what do you got?
That's it. I think we showcased what we wanted to show people on how to build this. And there are a lot of people out there that want to do this on their own. And I wanted to make sure that we showed them how to do it so that they don't get out there and provide bad experiences. Because that's one thing I do want everybody to understand is there are bad actors out there in the AI community that want to just take your money without doing something the right way, which is another reason we're out here showcasing everything that we do live. Happy to show you things that break, give you a reason why, and show how we fix it. And we both believe in full transparency.
And we'll start evaluating some of these other softwares as well. That's part of my mission, is to, if you have a software that you think you want to buy, ask me. I'm happy to review, because I've seen so many people, and I see it happen all the time. If you've heard of AppSumo, there's lifetime deals. You can buy stuff for one price. You don't have to pay ever again for the month. But I'll tell you this much: at least 60% of those deals just fail. They don't make it to fruition. You spend a lot of money and you lose because the company just closes up. They've made a few $1,000s. They're not going to build any more of the app, and then you never see them again. That's not what you want. So don't ever just go buy something because it looks cool, or the sales letter made you believe it was cool. Evaluate it, try it, test it, and do it on a trial basis. Like, we go and try accounts. We go and buy accounts on a partial with a return possibility. Now, I'll tell you, Ross, AppSumo is the only place I can feel confident I'll get my money back if I buy software.
Same.
Always. I will get my money back. But I've also learned, if I use Klarna, I can credit myself on the software and use it just long enough so that I get a feel for it, not have to pay full price, get my money back right away if I don't like it, and send it back. But you don't need to be doing that anymore. It's gotten to a level now where there's a lot of really good software out there. You just need to find it.
And in the AI space specifically, most of the software that I think is going to be the front runners or win are already out there, and they've gotten rid of the lifetime deals that they needed to get off the ground. And unfortunately, for anybody who hasn't taken action on this, you've almost you may find a couple good deals out there that may pan out, but you've missed the boat on the early adopter side of things. And now you're going to pay full price for the monthly subscriptions of these, because that's where we're at now. We have companies like ours that are fully developed and are building this out. We have sales teams that we have to fund. We have back-end support that has to be funded. And so we have to bill appropriately to make sure that the product quality is there.
Yeah.
And if not, then you get what happens on the AppSumo deals where they just shut down. So I would say jump on it now, because I don't think these things are going to get any cheaper. We've already had the race to the bottom, and now we're finding, like, even if you watch the what was the CEO of Google's name? I can't remember his name.
Oh, Smith, I think was his name. Yeah.
He did that Stanford interview.
Yeah. And
he's talking about, Sam Altman is now talking about they need 300, what was it? Billion?
Wow. 300 million.
I was like 300 billion to be able to continue to grow at the pace that they are because
Oh,
compute
yeah,
is
for
getting
sure.
so expensive.
Yeah, if they
And
want
I was
more,
like 300 billion. That is insane.
that's an unfathomable number when you really think about it. And it's
And
never going to change because I think what we're realizing with AI is every time we think we've reached a pinnacle, we discover another pinnacle is up higher, and we
Yep.
just didn't make it high enough. So I'm looking forward to what transpires in video creation, because right now it is almost to the point, and I've just noticed this, and I'm going to be posting about this shortly. It's almost to the point where you can produce video with AI in real time, to where it would almost be, you could have, imagine this, and I've seen it with cameras already, a video camera that has no place to zoom in. It's just you in a box with a thing, and you decide what you're looking at, and it creates it for you in real time. You could talk to the camera and say, I'm walking down a road with a bunch of trees on either side. I want somebody to come in from the left, exit stage right. Literally, that will be the video production method that will be capable in years to come.
Mhm.
Can't wait. All right, Ross. Hope to find you very soon over at Maverick Solutions over on YouTube. As long as you want to talk business, AI, automations, go check out Ross there. If you want to find out more about audio and video, come to Best AI TV, where we'll be banging out these videos, and we're going to share this video out on Ross's page as well. We'll stream both channels at the same time next week, so that there's no lack in viewership from both of our networks. That way everybody has access, and from there we'll also create other content delivery methods going forward. We've got a lot of stuff behind the scenes we haven't talked about yet.
Yep. I'm excited about where we're going, Leland.
Ready, willing, and able. Ross, we'll see you next week, 12 p.m.
Yep. See you there.
All right, take it easy, dude. You all have a good one.